a spectacular night of boxing coming up on HBO on June 29th. It's going to be a great triple header, and what we're going to do here this afternoon is introduce you to the two fighters that will be fighting in the main event. In my mind, it's not just challenger and champion, it's basically a battle of champions. I was in Germany a few years ago when the gentleman you'll meet in a little while faced Felix Sturm, and I remember turning to his team as I got into the ring before I got the scorecards and said, well, it looks like I'll be going to Ireland for the rematch, but it didn't turn out that way on the scorecards. So this is truly a significant fight in what is traditionally a glamour division in the world of boxing. You know, the heavyweights have always been the superstars of boxing, but when it comes to middleweights, there's always been a fascination with middleweight champions, whether it's the great Sugar Ray Robinson or Marcel Cerdan and Zale and Graziano and just, you know, Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, through the years, just a spectacular division in boxing. And right now, at this time of the 21st century, it's no exception. We have probably a half dozen top quality middleweight fighters, champions and challengers that are all in the mix. And on June 29th, Saturday, June 29th, HBO is going to present one of these great middleweight fights. And it's going to be at Foxwoods in Connecticut, a site that is well known to boxing fans as having had many great fights over the past 15 years. And here to tell us a little bit about the venue and the upcoming event in June, I'd like to welcome the Executive Director of Branding and Advertising for Foxwoods, Ms. Danielle Carpenter.
Good afternoon. It's always a thrill for Foxwoods to host world-class boxing, and the opportunity to team up with the Bell Entertainment, K2 Promotions, and HBO Boxing After Dark further solidifies Foxwoods as a premium venue for professional boxing. We're very excited to host the event. Thank you so much.
Now, as I mentioned, the fight is going to be on HBO, and in a few weeks, HBO will be the site of a super event that'll be taking place in Buenos Aires, Argentina, in the middleweight division, as Sergio Martinez takes on Murray as his challenger, and a fighter from England, again, two of the top middleweights in the world. And here to tell us about the way things have been going and the way things will go on HBO, and they've been going quite spectacularly with Alvarado and Rios, and the Bradley fight just before that. So the action will continue. It continues again tonight from Radio City Music Hall. Please welcome the Director of Programming for HBO, Mr. Peter Nelson.
Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks Michael for the introduction. We're happy that this fight came together. We've had a string of good fights, and we're looking forward to continuing what we believe is a great trajectory of both of these fighters. We definitely don't believe that there's going to be any loser come June 29th. These are two spectacular action fighters, and from the beginning of the idea of this fight taking shape, we were excited about it. We weren't sure if we could get it to come together, but everyone here cooperated because everyone understood the magnitude of the event coming together at this moment, at this time, for both of these fighters at this stage of their careers and this stage of their development on HBO. It certainly is a great privilege for us as a network to be able to see the type of commitment that two fighters of international stature have, and showing their commitment to us on our network, where they could go and fight anywhere in the world, and they've decided to make HBO their home. And we certainly feel grateful for that to both Matthew and Gennady. It's certainly something that we're very proud of inside the building, to have these two fighters call HBO home. We're excited to be back at Foxwoods, and we're looking forward to a great triple header, not just this fight, but the whole show coming together on June 29th. And the start time for the fight is going to be 9:45 Eastern Pacific. Look forward to seeing you all there. We look forward to seeing you all tonight at Radio City. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Peter. I'm going to bring somebody up to the microphone this time that I've known for well over 20 years. I kind of consider myself a friend of the family. He's a former executive with HBO, also a sometime movie star, as we all saw in Rocky Balboa. And if you're a New Yorker, you definitely know who this guy is. But he's the president and CEO of DiBella Entertainment, Mr. Lou DiBella.
And you are part of the family. My mother reminds me of that all the time. I'm thrilled to be standing here to announce this fight, and I think it's an important fight. There are very few matchups you could possibly make in the middleweight division better than this one. Style-wise, this fight can't miss. And I have to point out the efforts of a couple of people, particularly for getting this done. First of all, Peter Nelson, who, like, there were about 15 times where I thought that this was not going to happen, and each time he refused to let it die and browbeat the shit out of Loeffler and myself. And spent hours on the phone with the fighters, not so much Triple G, but Matt, and making it known that, like, we want this fight because we believe, and both of you, we believe in the quality of this matchup. We believe in the excellence of the styles that are going to mesh in the ring on June 29th. And frankly, this is a moment in time where, with one network sort of a closed shop, if we don't work together to make the best fights, the sport's going to be in real deep shit. So, Tommy, I want to thank you. And he had a date contractually, so did I. And we didn't have to merge this event. That's just fact. We had contracts. And it was the right thing to do. He made sacrifices that he didn't have to make. I think I did also. I know I did. But I think it's the right thing for our fighters. Because like Peter said, I don't expect a loser to come out of the 29th. This is just too good a matchup of styles. This is a fight that can't miss. I mean, I got an opportunity to see Triple G look absolutely awesome in Monaco. Granted, it's not the greatest fighter he fought, but when you're in there with a professional fighter who's never been knocked out and you demolish him the way he did, it's simply just, it's impressive. And I got to get to know him a little bit too, spent a little time with him. He's a terrific young man, as well as being a great champion. He's a good guy and a hard guy to root against. But on June 29th, I will be rooting against you. But after that, we'll go out and we'll be friends, and I'll root for you for the rest of the time. But I think that you saw from the Rosado fight with Triple G that Triple G will mix it up, he'll rumble. But if you want to make it a fight, you got to go after him. And Matthew's unquestionably the biggest, strongest, heaviest punching fighter that Triple G's ever fought. And the one thing you know from watching Matthew fight is Matthew's going to go after him. So it's a can't miss fight. And that's sort of what we need. And there's been a string of them. And you know what? I was thinking to myself yesterday, Bradley could have walked down Times Square, Provodnikov could have walked down Times Square, and no one would have recognized him. And that's a fact. But it really doesn't matter, because people know what a good fight is. And if you turn on HBO and you're used to watching great programming, like you were for a period of time, I'm proud to say, in the 1990s, for a decade, where you knew when you turned on Boxing After Dark, you're going to see wars. You may not know the names of the guy going in, but you knew the names of the guy coming out. And that's sort of what happened the last few weeks. I mean, Rios and Alvarado, neither one of them's going to ever be pound for pound. I don't care. I want to see both of them again. Provodnikov and Bradley, I'm thrilled that fight's happening again. And this fight, like I said, you can't really make a much better matchup in the middleweight division. So, like, kudos to everybody involved. It took Triple G to you to take the challenge. Matthew for stepping up to this fight when everybody out there didn't want to step up to this fight. No one else wanted to take this fight. Like Matt, he would have been stuck with some, pedestrian middleweight, because to be honest, the pedestrian middleweight's the only guys looking to fight a guy like him. Other than Matt Macklin, who wants to be champion and believes he can be. So, thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Triple G. thank you, Scott Butera, and Christina, everybody at Danielle, I'm sorry, everybody at Foxwoods, because Foxwoods is my favorite venue. It's like become sort of my home base outside of New York City. And I know that Tom's going to enjoy working with them. K2's going to enjoy it because it really is a beautiful venue. It's a wonderful property. I think it's the best property to host boxing on the East Coast of the United States. So it's going to be a great place. The tickets are priced at the VIP ring sides, which are the first few rows. Or there's only 4 ticket prices. There's 4 ticket levels. So $300 are the VIP ring sides. Ringside seats are $200, and then the tickets are $90 and $45. Is that right? $45? Okay. So it's $300 for VIPs, $200, $90, and $45. Daniel, are they going on sale Monday at the last one? And I think that's pre-sale, before ticket night. So Monday, and if you guys could try to mention this, particularly you internet guys, because you'll be out there tomorrow. If you want to get great seats before they're available on Ticketmaster, it's really a private sale through the Foxwoods box office starting on Monday. Later in the week, tickets will go on sale through Ticketmaster. But early in the week, you'll only be able to get them through the Foxwoods box office, and by calling Foxwoods.com. You can get it at Foxwoods.com. So that's an opportunity to get the best seats in the house before they go on sale to the general public. Just to say a couple of words, I want to bring a man that I've worked with for a long time. We've known each other for years and years. He's the promoter in Ireland. My good friend, Brian Peters.
Thank you, Lou. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, we're delighted to be here. We'd like to thank the champ, Gennady, Tom, all at K2 for this opportunity. We're delighted that it's in Foxwoods, one of the fantastic venues. We'd like to thank our promoter. It has to be the most passionate boxing promoter of all time, and someone out there needs to do a reality program, Living with Lou, because I'm telling you, it would be something else. I'd like to thank HBO for having Matthew back. I'd like to thank Ken and Kerry, and in particular Peter Nelson. Hopefully Gennady and Matthew can show the same tenacity that Peter Nelson made, that he showed in making this fight. I'd like to thank Peter. Thank you very much. You know, Gennady, 26 wins, 23 knockouts. Most of the middleweights are afraid to walk down the same side of the street as him. He's got this Triple G nickname. It's like a superhero. He's like a mythologist. I've never seen a fighter just to grow such a reputation in such a short period of time. And he's earned it. He's a hell of a fighter. A hell of a fighter. I think he's got the 88% knockout ratio, which is the greatest in the 124 years of the middleweight division. So that's quite saying something. But first time I rang Matthew, said about fighting Mr. Golovkin, Matthew's reply was, no problem, I'll fight him. And that's Matthew Macklin. You know, good old-fashioned type of guy, good old-fashioned type of fighter. No frills, but plenty of thrills. So I would like to thank you guys very much and we're very much looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. What is my name again? Mihal. I just got back from Macau, and in China, of course. Mihal is how you say hello. So it's Mihal. So when he came up with me this afternoon, I thought, gee, were you there in China too? Hello to you too. Thank you for sharing that with me. So at the top of the afternoon to you. And you did that without a translator too, which was great. I really appreciate it.
I don't know if anyone understood.
Well, let me bring up our other promoter representing the champion. Tom's been in the foxholes of boxing for quite a few years, and of course he's involved with the 2 world heavyweight champions, Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko, and he's now guiding the career promotionally for the middleweight champion that it's very difficult to get opponents. And one of the reasons we're here this afternoon is because we have a real stand-up challenger in Matthew. But let me bring up the microphone, the Director of Operations for K2 Promotions, Mr. Tom Loeffler.
Thank you, Michael. It's always nice being up here on the podium with people I call friends. We'd like to thank Foxwoods for hosting this fight. I think this will be a terrific fight. One of the best in the middleweight division right now. As soon as we announced it on Thursday, the reaction, both on Twitter and the internet and everything, it just blew up, as far as two great middleweights fighting each other. And as Lou had mentioned, there were a lot of other options for both Matthew and Gennady, but this is really the best for both of them. We both had dates, but I have to, give a special acknowledgement to Peter Nelson and everybody at HBO for really making this fight happen. It's true that, when we were going back and forth, the fight was on and then off and on, and it wasn't a matter of Matthew not wanting to fight Gennady or Gennady not wanting to fight Matthew. It was just a matter of timing and putting it together on this date in June 29th. I feel we have the best middleweight in the world today, sitting right here in Gennady. It's just a matter of him showing it in the ring. And the only way he can show it in the ring is to get the other middleweights, who are also considered great, to fight him. There's a champion, Daniel Giel, who was obligated to fight him after his fight with Sturm. He vacated the title, didn't want to fight him. NG Cum from France was obligated to fight him. He was actually Gennady's mandatory, and he vacated the title, so he didn't have to fight him. That's the guy that Peter Quillen fought. So there's middleweights. I mean, when I say it's hard to get fighters to fight him, I have a harder time making a fight for Gennady than I do for the heavyweight champions. And I've never really experienced anything like that, but that's why I have to give a lot of credit to both Lou and Brian for helping make this fight together. I've known them both for a long time, and a lot of credit to Matthew for taking the fight. It's clearly, in our opinion, it'll be Gennady's toughest test. We saw Matthew's punching power. We were both at the Garden last year when Matthew fought Sergio and knocked him down. And so there's no question that, Matthew likes to fight. He's not going to run away, and he can punch. So we're looking forward to that. Also, after we're done here, maybe I can talk to Peter about I'll be representing Lou when we do the new, what is it, new series, Living with Lou? We can do Boardwalk Empire, we can do Living with Lou. No, but again, just a lot of credit to them, and a lot of credit to the fighters. So with that, I'll let Michael do his thing and introduce both of the stars of the show. Thank you.
You do realize that Living with Lou would be R-rated and would make the Kardashians look like a Disney Channel show. But I look forward to it, I really do. We have to have that on HBO. What is it, HBO-S or something that has all that stuff? Cinemax. Yeah, okay, Cinemax, yeah. The late night stuff, that's cool.
How many beats an hour you have?
Especially when Lou is in Monte Carlo. I want to hear about those adventures. That has to be fantastic. And now comes my favorite part of my job, is when I get to introduce the stars of the show. We have all the elements of a great night of boxing. It's a triple header, a spectacular main event, the hottest division in boxing, without a doubt. Traditionally, as I said before, it's a glamour division in boxing. And we have two fighters, when you look at their numbers, they knock people out. And this is what brings people to the HBO screen. It's what puts the asses in the seats, as they like to say. It's what fight fans, promoters, sports writers all want to see. Guys that know how to fight, guys that have technique, that have skills, that have talent, and knockout power. And on top of that, you're gonna be listening to a couple of real gentlemen here at the microphone that seem to have the ability that when the bell rings, they're not the nice guys that you're about to see here in front of the microphone. They're both fighters with the will to win. First, let me bring up to the microphone. He's officially listed as the challenger. I like to think of him as an uncrowned champion. As I said before, I saw him in a championship fight that I really thought, and many people that were there thought he won. 29 victories, only 4 defeats. 20 of his 29 victories by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger for the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World, Matthew "Mac the Knife" Macklin.
Yeah, Mac!
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Just wanted to thank a few people before, to start with, really, and that's, I'll start with my team. My promoter, Ludi Bella, who, yeah, Ozzy Osbourne definitely wouldn't have a patch on. My manager, Brian Peters, you know, everyone at DiBella Entertainment, Tomas Rohan, who helps Brian out a lot. I want to thank Peter Nelson of HBO and everyone, Ken Hirschman, Kerry Davis at HBO also for making the fight happen. I want to thank Tom Loeffler at K2 and Gennady for accepting the challenge. Yeah, I mean, when the fight got put to me, like Brian said, I said, sure, no problem. I mean, initially, I wanted to fight in June as a tune-up fight and then to fight Gennady September, October, but, you know, I'm not the kind of person to turn down world title shots. And I can't believe that anyone would do that. So for me, to go after the shot at the middleweight championship, the world, to turn it down is just ludicrous. Especially when, you know, I've always wanted to be involved in the big fights. I want to be champion. It's another shot at the world title. Felt I should have already been WBA middleweight champion when I fought Felix Sturm over in Cologne in Germany back in, I think, actually it was the last Saturday of June in 2011. So that's a bit of an omen there. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the fight. You know, Gennady's got a lot of hype around him at the minute. He's 26-0, 23 knockouts. Like Brian said, he's got the highest knockout ratio in boxing at the moment, I think, and is it something like 124 years in the middleweight division, which, you know, that's pretty spectacular. You know, his last fight, he knocked Shida out cold in 3 rounds, someone who'd never been stopped, been 12 rounds with Dimitri Pirak. But, you know, the other thing is, you know, Gennady's fighting me, who has 20 knockouts in 29 fights, and I'm by far the biggest puncher he's fought. So, you know, that's obviously something that will be in his mind, something that'll be in my mind also, and something that, you know, I think will be a factor in the fight. I don't think he's just going to be able to walk in on me the way he has done against some of his, you know, past opponents. You know, and the middleweight division, like Brian mentioned and Michael said as well, you know, when you look at the heyday middleweight division at the 40s and 50s, you had Rocky Graziano, Tony Zale fighting each other in rematches and trilogies, and Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta and all those great fighters. And even the Leonard, Duran Hagler, Hearns era, you know, they're the fights that are still spoken about today. They're legendary. They just have legendary status now, and they're the fights I want to be involved in. You know, first and foremost, I want to fight for the world title, I want to win the world title, but I also want to be involved in the biggest and the best fights I can be. And I think Golovkin is, you know, he ticks all those boxes. You know, I first was aware again at Gennady in 2000. We both boxed in the World Junior Championships in Budapest. He got fired at a tournament. So I thought, you know, I'm going to look out for this guy because I think our paths will cross one day. I fought at the weight above. Always thought our paths would cross in the amateurs, but I turned pro a year later. He had a drawn-out, long amateur career, so you know, it's funny how things happen, but here we are 13 years later and we're fighting for the middleweight championship of the world. But like I say, great fighter. Can't talk bad of him as a fighter and can't talk bad of him as a person either. He seems like a gentleman, and you know, credit to him for everything he's done in his career so far. And I do believe he will go on and achieve more and achieve all the things that everyone says he will do. But he's going to lose first, and he'll probably be a better fighter because of it. And this fight reminds me a lot of the Trinidad Bernard Hopkins fight, when you had you know, the knockout specialist, undefeated guy, ploughing through everyone in Felix Trinidad, and he fought a guy like Bernard Hopkins who'd had a couple of losses, but, you know, learned from his losses, come back better, was seasoned, hard and professional. And you know, during that fight he out-thought, out-maneuvered, out-hustled, out-punched, and eventually knocked out the supposed knockout specialist in Felix Trinidad. And that's exactly what's going to happen on June 29th.
Thank you, Matthew. Well, I'd like to bring up the champion at this time. 26-0, 23 KOs. The highest knockout ratio of any active fighter competing right now in the world. And I believe the highest knockout ratio in the history of middleweight champions, world middleweight champions. An Olympic silver medalist. He's gaining more and more respect and acknowledgement among fight fans around the world, and I think last night was an example of the type of recognition that he gets. And we were out to dinner together, and Patrick Ewing and Michael Jordan were in the same restaurant, and I went over and said hello, and told them that Gennady was there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we've seen that guy on HBO. Yeah, bring him over." When you get recognition by, all of their athletes love boxing. There's no doubt about it, and they recognize the fact that it's mano a mano. It's just one guy in there. It's not a team sport. You got to, the bell rings, and all the training you've done, and your coach is in your corner. You have to walk out to the middle of the ring, and have two of the greatest NBA players and probably one of the greatest athletes in the history of all sports, in Michael Jordan, recognize you and acknowledge that you're somebody that they admire and respect as an athlete is pretty spectacular. So let me bring him up to the microphone at this time. Once again, just like Matthew, this is one nice guy, one real gentleman, but two fighters that when the bell rings, they're going to try to knock each other out. Ladies and gentlemen, the WBA middleweight champion of the world, Gennady Triple G Golovkin.
Thank you, Michael. Good afternoon, everybody. First, I'm happy to come back in New York, in HBO. Special thank you so much in HBO. I'm happy to stay here. Thank you very much, Mr. Ribella, your team. Thank you. I respect you. You're best challenger for me right now. I understand my situation. I understand. Thank you very much, your team. Thank you very much, my team, my promotion, Tom. I think very difficult fight for us. Very big fight for us because look at him. I see same size, same power, same speed. I remember fight with Sergio, very close fight. I know I understand my situation. This is very good fight for us. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that's going to wrap it up, everybody. But I want to bring something. It's not solidified yet, but especially for the people here today and members of the press, there's going to be a press conference for Wednesday before the fight. So that's June 26th, Wednesday, June 26th. It'll be here in New York, and we're working on the possibility. Lou and Tom are trying to work this out, where we're going to put together buses to transport everybody up to Foxwoods. It's a great time of year to be up there. You'll be able to come up on, we'll try to work it out for Wednesday night or Thursday morning, whatever. And I think that's going to be a big help for members of the press. And I know there's going to be a lot of coverage of this fight. So we want to have everybody up there at Foxwoods, which is, as Lou mentioned before, one of the great places to spend, and that is just like one of the great times of the year for one of the most beautiful parts of America. So we're going to do everything we can to accommodate the press and have a great event on June 29th on HBO and at Foxwoods, and we'll see you all then. Foxwoods.com. Living with Lou, coming soon to HBO. Okay, and we'll have some one-on-ones and photos and everything, so pictures. Oh yeah, stay back just for a minute.
Stay back!
Okay, let's bring both fighters out to the front here so they can pose.
You can stand. You can stand.
Just come right up.
Thank you guys. Thank you for coming out.